Hello and welcome back to Coffee with Dr. Carla. And I'm Dr. Carla, and I'm so glad that you're here with me. Our goal is to talk about mental health related issues and to end the stigma that surrounds them. And today, I want to teach you a little something about the brain and then teach you a technique to be able to maybe go on a few little trips or bring up some beautiful memories. But at the end of the day, allow for some peace and tranquility into our life. So let's start with the fact that we all have a brain, right? And everybody's brain has got a left and a right hemisphere. And so our right hemisphere is going to do things like, oh, I don't know, creative stuff, the emotions, the arts, right? And the left side of our brain is going to be more intellectual, a little bit more analytical in nature. And unfortunately, more times than not, they don't work together. Now, when we're born, there's many neurological pathways that are there. In fact, they're throughout our whole brain by the hundreds when we're little. But as we learn and as we develop different things, those pathways we use most get strengthened, and the ones that we don't use tend to get pruned back. And unfortunately, many of the activities that we learn growing up don't require both sides of the brain or both hemispheres of the brain to cooperate. That doesn't mean that we lose all of them. It just means it's something that maybe we have to be a little bit more purposeful about or a little bit more intentional. So the simplest way to do this is by adding some sort of bilateral stimulation. So bilateral, two sides. Stimulation is just some sort of action, right? So bilateral stimulation could be this, the alternating on my shoulders. I can do this as long as it's alternating, whatever makes you happy. I can tap on my, legs. I can march in place. It honestly, it is irrelevant how you do it, just that it's an alternating two-sided sort of tapping. So if we simply need to bring ourselves to a more calm or peaceful place, we can begin tapping, do this bilateral stimulation or BLS, right? And then we could just close our eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. And just let it out, and we can just notice our breath coming in and out. And if you are a normal human being, which I'm assuming everybody is, and at some point our mind is going to start to wander, and we're going to say, okay, thank you, I notice you. And then we're going to come back to the tapping, come back to the breathing. And we can do this for as long as we want. There's no right or wrong answer. I usually tell my clients, I want you to keep tapping and noticing your breath until you feel like it's enough. And what's enough for me may not be enough for you, and vice versa. But it's a great way to help bring a calming, grounding effect. So that in itself is really helpful. In fact, a lot of times when my clients are experiencing an increase in anxiety or uncertainty, or they're feeling overwhelmed, or maybe, this is my favorite, traffic is just horrible, and the kids are screaming in the back of the car, and they're just like, oh my gosh, this is way too much. So as they're driving, they can keep tapping on the steering wheel, and they could help bring everything down to a more even keel, a more grounded way of being. Now, I wish tapping would get our kids to not fight in the back seat or for traffic to open up. That's not going to happen. But what will happen is that your capacity to handle it will be so much better. Now, if we want to have some real fun with this, we can use our imagination as well. So, do you like to go on vacations? We could take a free vacation right now. Are you ready? Think about a place you absolutely love to go to, or maybe a place you wish you could go to, but it's too expensive, or maybe COVID is, preventing you from going, right? Like, so I want to go to some beach. Oh, let's see, a beach where. Oh, I'm actually pretty open, but let's go Mediterranean. Let's talk about really big, expansive beaches, white sand, um, crystal clear blue water, beautiful temperatures, right? Not a cloud in the sky. Maybe somebody coming along just bringing me, little snacks along the way, whatever the case may be, right? So you bring up this beautiful vacation spot, this spot that makes you go, ah, yes, right? And you close your eyes and you start tapping. And as I'm on my vacation, I'm noticing the sand between my toes. I'm noticing the waves crashing in. I am noticing the laughter of the people around me. I'm noticing the heat of the sun on my skin, right? And I'm noticing just that kind of sleepy, easy feeling that I get when I'm relaxing on the beach. And we can stay here for as long as we want or as short as we want. And we can go anytime we want. We don't have to make reservations or anything. It's always available. The other really cool thing that you can do with this is maybe there's a time in your life that you just loved. Maybe it was your wedding, maybe it was the birth of a child, maybe it was earning a degree, maybe it was hitting that grand slam home run, whatever the case may be, right? Getting that acceptance letter for maybe a school you were trying to get into or a job that you wanted, and you could just pull up that memory, and that memory just fills you with such joy, and you could tap and remember that memory, right? You could do the same thing about thinking about the people we love and cherish and bringing them into our memory and tapping away. So I encourage you this week to maybe go on a little vacation, right? To take care of yourself, to rest and recharge and relax. Pull that up in your mind's eye and start tapping, and you can stay there as long as you want to. So until next week, remember you can change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life by focusing on your overall well being. Until next time, continue working on the best you possible.